Hello students, this is Vaishali, faculty in School of Finance and Commerce, Galgotias University. I welcome you all to this lecture series. Our course code is MCOM 1001 and name of the course is Organizational Behavior. We are going to cover the first lecture in Unit 2 and the name of the topic is Johari window. So let's get started with our presentation. Students, in an organization, people work with each other. So it's very important to have an environment of mutual understanding and trust among people. Because if people trust one another, they will have good interpersonal relationships with team members, and as a result, their productivity will improve. Now, all these issues that I just mentioned, like trust, communication, good interpersonal skills, these are all addressed by Johari window. Johari window is a revolutionary tool which provides insights for improving the interpersonal communication in a team. So in further discussion, we are going to look into the meaning and techniques of Johari window in detail. Johari window is a psychological tool. It is simple and useful for understanding and training in self-awareness, personal development, improving communication, building interpersonal relationships, group dynamics, team development, and intergroup relationships. It is one of the few tools that has an emphasis on soft skills such as behavior, empathy, cooperation. It's a great model to use because it's very simple and also can be applied in a variety of situations. So now let's look at the development of Johari window and how it came into existence. So Johari window was devised by two American psychologists named Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. They came up with this model in the year 1955 while they were researching group dynamics at University of California, Los Angeles. So Luft and Ingham called their Johari window model as Johari after combining their first names, Joe and Harry. This model is also referred to as disclosure feedback model, self-awareness model, and even information processing tool by some people. This became a widely used model for understanding and training in self-development, personal development, and improving communication and interpersonal relationships. Let's further discuss the terminology that we will be using while discussing Johari window. Now there are two terms. One is self and others. Self refers to the person who is subject to the Johari window analysis, and others refers to the other people in the team. Johari window represents a person's or a group's attitudes, beliefs, skills, or experiences in relation to others. The information about the person is divided into four parts or four perspectives. The four parts of this window can be referred to as regions or areas or quadrants. Each of these areas contains information about a person in terms of whether the information is known or unknown to the person and whether the information is known or unknown to others in the team. So this model is basically based on two ideas: that trust can be acquired by revealing information about you to others and learning yourselves from their feedbacks. So the first quadrant in Johari window is open area. This area includes all the things about our behavior and personality which we are also aware of and other people also know about us. So basically this represents our conscious self. So let's understand this by an example. Suppose there is an employee named Peter and all the information about him like his personal information, his name, age, educational background, cultural background and certain things about his personality that is an extrovert and some of his skills like he's really good at analytical skills are known by him as well as other people in the team are also aware of all these things about him. So all this information will come under open area of Johari window. So through the example we saw that the behavior here is generally public and available to everyone. Open area will increase in size as the level of trust between the individual and his team members increase and more information is shared. The aim of every team is to develop this open area for every person because when we work in this area with others, we are at our effective best and productive also. And as a result, the overall team will be more productive. So the open area is the space where good communication and cooperation occurs and there is very less distraction, mistrust or confusions. The team is able to function without any conflict and misunderstanding. Next is the second quadrant named as blind area. This area contains all the information about ourselves which we do not know but that others can notice about us with profound clarity. So basically it is that part of us that we are ignorant about. Now continuing with the same example, suppose although Peter is highly ambitious but at the same time he comes across as a very dominant person. He does not like to take suggestions from his team members, nor does he trust anyone with responsibilities. So he always has a hard time delegating work. Now here Peter may be unaware about this particular aspect of his personality, but anyone who works with him notices this in no time. So from the example, it is very much clear that blind area is not a productive space for individuals or groups. This area can also include issues that other people in the team are deliberately withholding from the person. So it is always better to reduce this area. The blind area can be reduced in size by taking feedback from others. When feedback is taken, the person who is the central point of Johari window is able to change his behavior and increase the open area. So basically the technique of feedback will increase his self-awareness and thereby reduce the size of blind self and increase open area. Here team members and managers can take the responsibility for reducing the blind area by giving the person very sensitive feedback and encouraging disclosure from their side. Managers should ensure that a climate of non-judgmental feedback and group response is encouraged. Now next is the third quadrant, that is hidden self, also known as hidden area, avoided area or facade. Now this area contains all the information that is known to ourselves but kept hidden from others. So basically it represents all those information, feelings, etc. that a person knows about himself but which is not revealed or kept hidden from others. It can also include all the sensitive things, fears, hidden agendas, manipulative intentions, or secrets, anything that a person knows but does not reveal. So continuing with our example, now suppose Peter occupies the role of auditor in the organization and his wife is also auditor of competitor firm. This personal information should be disclosed by Peter, as being an auditor he has access to all the sensitive data of the company and any negligence on his part can prove to be detrimental. So just like we saw that blind area should have been reduced in size, same way to enhance the productivity and good communication, even hidden area should be smaller in size. That is to say, all the relevant hidden information and feelings should be disclosed and open area should be increased in size. Now this can be done by the process of self-disclosure. In self-disclosure, the employee himself reveals a lot of information about him, thereby reducing his hidden area. Now the purpose here is not to say that all the private and personal information should be exposed. The aim here is to reduce the size of hidden area so as to demolish all the ineffective group communication, confusion and misunderstanding. Organizational culture and working atmosphere have a major influence on team members' preparedness to disclose their hidden selves. The extent to which an individual will disclose personal information must always be at the individual's own discretion. Now the last quadrant is the fourth quadrant, which is known as unknown self or unknown area. This area includes all the information, feelings, latent talents, aptitudes, experiences that are unknown to the person and also unknown to others in the group. These latent abilities can be recognized through self-discovery or observation by others. Here in this case, even counseling can also uncover unknown issues. For example, let's say Peter is highly efficient employee who always meets deadline on time. But if a task is assigned to him at the last moment, he gives in to pressure and can't work with same efficiency. Through counseling, he became aware of these anxiety attacks, and now along with his manager, who was also not aware of this behavioral pattern, can work out a strategy which will bring out the best in him. So this is how the unknown part of Peter's personality can become known to both to him as well as to his immediate manager. So we saw how the unknown area could also include repressed or subconscious feelings or traumatic experiences which happened in the past, and they can stay unknown for a lifetime also. Now here again, just like blind area and hidden area should be reduced in size, same way managers should give focus that even unknown area should be reduced in size. This can be done if they encourage self-discovery and constructive observation as well as feedback among their team members. So now that we have discussed all the four quadrants of Johari window, let's compare the open area of an established team member who has been there in the team for quite a long period of time and open area of a newly hired team member. So an established team member tend to have larger open areas, while the new team member will have a smaller open area because there is relatively little knowledge about the new team member. Now let's see how to increase the size of open area. So open area can be increased through the process of feedback or through the process of disclosure. In feedback, we reduce the size of blind area, and in the process of self-disclosure, we reduce the size of hidden area. Now, another thing to do is to reduce the size of unknown area. This can be done by the person himself through the process of self-discovery or through the help of his team members as well. Now let's look at some of the drawbacks of this model. So although Johari window has a lot of advantages, yet this model is not free from its limitations. We have seen that feedback and disclosure are the key highlights of this tool. So this tool can only work when there is a culture of trust and openness. People will be willing to give feedback only when they are sure that their feedback won't be taken offensively. And same way, people will have courage to disclose relevant information about themselves when they feel they have trust and confidence on their team members.